Hi guys, Trevor Swenson with PTSD Through the Darkness. I'm glad to be here today. I am glad to be able to share with you today maybe some things that would be helpful for you walking through a trauma background, a trauma walk, a PTSD walk, whatever your walk might be in regards to trauma. And I want to touch on some of the high points, some of the deep points, I would say, in my partial hospitalization for PTSD that took place. I think uh, it would not be a good thing for me to skip over the things that were meaningful to me because they might be meaningful to somebody else as well. One of the things about the partial hospitalization program is that it is a deep focus on embracing today and looking forward to the future. Everybody there knows your past and why you're there because you state exactly why you're there. So, for instance, for me, it was I'm Trevor. I'm here for PTSD, major depressive disorder, all the other complexities that PTSD brings along, suicidal ideation. And what I want to get out of this program is I want to improve my quality of life. And that's how we start. And there's value in that, obviously, is naming it and accepting that is where you're at right now. There's power in that because it's reality. One of the wonderful things that the therapists who I cannot say enough about the team that was involved in my journey through partial hospitalization, they are unbelievably incredible human beings that understand trauma, that understand mental illness, that understand broken hearts, broken lives, broken minds. And one of the phrases that was used that is very powerful that I know I will use as I continue my journey, and if I ever have the opportunity to share with somebody and they feel like sharing with me, if I'm a safe person to them, is the phrase, talk more about that. As simple as that. Talk more about that. I can tell you that if I heard it one time, I heard it 50 times in my stay in partial hospitalization. Talk more about that. And it was amazing how deep conversations were able to go when that simple question was asked. I wasn't allowed to simply say, I'm extremely angry. It would be followed up with, talk more about that. And I would go into the details of why I was unbelievably angry. Or how are you doing today, Trevor? And I would say, I'm feeling very anxious and very triggered. Talk more about that. And I would be able to explain and get off my chest the things specifically, because when that question was asked, it became very understood by me that I want to know everything. I want to know everything to help you, to be able to help you. I want to know, what do you mean by triggered? How exactly are you triggered? Why are you triggered today? What are the anxious thoughts going through your mind? Why are you so depressed today? Talk more about that. And the interesting thing and the most valuable thing that came from it for me was the ability for the professionals to take my triggers and my anxiety and the jacked up biofeedback that I would have for the day, because it would affect all of my vitals, and for them to be able to take that and explain exactly what was going on a big diagram for everybody to see and to understand and to apply to their own situations. And for instance, with the brain, they talked about the wise brain being the brain in the middle of two larger circles that overlapped, when I'm triggered and highly anxious, I'm way outside the emotional and not even close to the center of the wise brain, and I am in fight, flight, or freeze, and I am irrational, and I am in survival mode. And just to have it very simply explained to me that it's impossible to go from a triggered state of being in fight, flight, or freeze and to connect with your reasonable and rational brain. You can't do that. It's a survival mechanism, and it makes perfect sense why you're not able to get into the reasonable and rational, especially if you put it into real basic analogies that I've used before, that if you're getting chased by a black bear or a 150-pound gray wolf, your body is in fight, flight, or freeze, and it is not thinking about the size of the animal chasing you, the pace that it's running, the power of that ant. It's not thinking of it. It can't even get there. And it really made me understand better and feel more comfortable with sitting in a triggered state and understanding my anxiety and understanding how closely anxiety and depression in my story are tied, and understanding where the emotions were coming from, because they simply would ask the question, could you talk more about that? And it was very powerful, and it was very effective for me. And I just am sitting here wondering if there were more people that were trusted, if there were more people that were safe, that were able to ask that question, how much healing could take place, and how deep of a level of understanding we could have as we walk through our trauma and stressor-related disorders. So I just wanted to share that with you from my partial program, and it was very powerful, and it meant a lot to me. And I'm really glad for the help that I got. And I think it would be interesting also for you to know that in my PTSD walk, I had turned down the opportunity to be in the program multiple times before I accepted. And so it's okay if you're highly anxious about getting professional help, because it took me years to get professional help, and it took a very short amount of time after I got professional help to at least start understanding and start taking a deep dive into exactly what it was that I was battling, and I wish the same for you. I can't wait to speak with you next time. Talk more about that. Click subscribe, hit the like button. We'll see you soon.